I'm born in Gombad. It's northeast of Iran, a very small place, a small city. When I was 18, I went to Tehran and I studied cinema in cinema film school, the only film school in Iran. And then I met Mr. Kiarostami for one of his projects. And I understood that studying cinema is bullshit, some kind of, because it's a waste of time. The only way to just know how to do cinema is to making films. And as his assistant for 10 years, he told me that talking about cinema give you not enough courage to just make movies. And he didn't really like to talk about cinema. He wanted always to do cinema. And he said that you are a film worker. And as a film worker, you have to work on your films, on your projects, and do not just studying other films from other people. And this kind of vision gave me the courage to make my first feature film at 24. The name was Morning. In Paris, I had a chance to just show it in cinema as the name of Corel. And it was really successful. It won the best film prize in Busan. And then it changed my road in cinema. And after that, I could call myself cineast. And he always tried to guide me to just go through your own projects and try to find something personal in it. And then just working on it until it finished, and then just put it somewhere else and go for the next. My first two feature films was kind of in Iran. It didn't have a chance to just show it in cinemas, because there are some kind of festival movies, they called it. But the third one, TOOMAN, I tried to just have a narrative that is much more in a dramatic way and with much more camera work and every tension that the drama needs. Because of that, this is the first time that I had a chance to just show my films to my colleagues in Iran. And it's kind of opening door for me in Iran, this film, because it was really successful in Tehran. And now I'm working on a bigger project as a series, because in Corona period in Iran, the cinema broke down some kind of, and no one now goes to cinemas. And because of that, all the creative people and my colleagues go to VOD like Netflix in Iran, and they try to expand their stories as some kind of series. And I'm working on a series. The name of is Kingdom. Yeah. And now it's 25 episodes it has, and I'm curating it and now working on it for more than 3 years. TOOMAN, it's about my generation in Iran. Because of the collapse of the economy, the young generation, they do not find a way to just through an ordinary life they could get some wishes and some good future for themselves. Because of that, they always trying to find short ways, like shortcuts to go through gambling and do some crazy ideas about stealing from each other or playing games to each other, and because of that, trying to find a way to in a short period they could overcome to all those wishes, and they could catch all those wishes. And I created Dawood, the main character, that is some kind of gambling guy who always win, but through winning he always lost something else from his own life, and he is much more lonely. And this idea worked on it, because in Iran now everyone is gambling on sports, especially football. But in Turkmen Sahara, my own birthplace, Turkmens, they do gambling on horses, and I combine these two ideas with each other, that gambling on football and gambling on horses. and took the story to my birthplace because I knew it. I saw all the people, that culture, Turkmen culture, and trying to find a way to combine these two kind of betting to each other to just expand the story. All the festivals out of Iran, they really like exotic films from Iran. They say that show us some political views from Iran. We need your reportage from Iran. But this time I tried to just find a way to tell my story through the 4 different forms as 4 different seasons of his life in a year. And because of that, every half an hour, we just have some structure that we're going to ruin it and go to the other structure in the next season. Because this is kind of a lifestyle as a gambler, means that you always go forward and do not look back to your life, that what was it. Because the main idea of this film is this question: could you buy your class, your and just have an advantage to the other upper class? Could you buy it with money or not? This is the main question of this film. Means that if you, as the starting point, if you are in a working class, could you just by gambling trying to go to the upper class? Is it enough? The money is enough for you to just have a chance to just upgrade yourself? And these questions was my main theme on this film. But I tried to find a way in a formalistic view, just changing the camera work, changing the style of each season to show that everything is different, but not different. And you're in a cycle that you're going to lose by each wins you got. I try to find some theater actors, means that Dawood and Yuna, every actor in this film, there are some kind of first experience in cinema. Because of that, I really needed some physical acting and trying to change the body language for each season and change all the faces, makeup and everything, because they are. And I have 4 different scripts for each season. I have one different script that gave it to them because they could see that this one is not this one and this one is not this one. And you have to change all the body language, all the faces, all the reactions. And because of that, I needed some kind of aggressive, active acting. And in cinema in Iran, if you work with some famous actors, they are some kind of formula for themselves to acting, some dramatic things. But I really needed a fresh way to show them. Because of that, I go to the theaters and find these actors for this special movie. And now they're all famous in Iran after this movie, because it really caught everyone's eyes. They're acting because they really go through the method acting, and they really lived the life of the characters in those 4 months. Because I just cut their ordinary life, and just took them to the combat, and they didn't have any chance to just remember who themselves were at that special time that they were creating their characters. The first draft, I wanted Navid Mohammadzadeh to just come and play, but I changed my ideas, and Navid really helped me to find Mir Said, Dawood, and he told me, just go for it, because I knew that 4 months under that pressure, in that heat of the weather, that we were just creating 4 hours makeup every morning at 3 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock in the morning. That's something that I need, some method acting actors that they want to sacrifice their own life for this, creating these characters. This is really a strange place. They are Turkmens, they are not Fars. And because of that, they have their own culture. Even they are not, they have the same religion, means that they are Sunnis and we are Shia in Islamic Republic. Means that because of that, they do not pray as like we pray as Muslims, and because of that, they always trying to defend their own culture in Iran, and to not and have a security for themselves, to just not have some intruders to their own kind of culture. And because of that, this contradiction, I gave it to Dawood as a racist character, because he didn't like anyone like Turkmens. And because of that, he always tried to just defend their culture in a racistic way. Because I kind of wrote Dawood bipolar. Means that every scene you hate him, the next scene you love him, and then the next scene you hate him, and the next scene you love him. You don't know what to do with this character. You cannot judge him, because he has a very aggressive attitude, but in love he has his own aggressive attitude too. And both in these two ways, that this kind of make a wave in his character that always changing, but you do not know is he is a good character or he is a bad character. And I really needed that kind of mood for my film. That's my really remorse that Mr. Kiarostami, I couldn't show him this film, because this is my first film that I just get rid of the shadow of Mr. Kiarostami, because of the other two films, he was like a figure of father for me. But this is the first film that I go through my inner feelings and trying to just show him that I could do in my own way, the way that I really like cinema. And because of that, that's some kind of regret for me that he's not here, because of some stupid faults of surgery, and we lost him, and we lost lots of projects that he had in his mind, and I really miss him.